Kobe, another person I met for the first time in real life this year. Good afternoon, Sean. What are your thoughts on the future of the MCU? Concerned. With almost 40 projects over the next 2 years, it seems like they're going for quantity, not quality. Correct approach. Yeah, I'm nervous. I see a lot of red flags with the MCU right now. Because you think Kevin Feige, like what? There's a lot of kind of discussions like, why are you concerned? Kevin Feige's great at recruiting people. He's following the same model that he's always followed before. And what he did this, and he's just, what's the issue? Well, the issue is that, so when they started out, they weren't under Disney. They were like an independent company that got independent financing. And then they built a system of model and put up phase 1. Things were working. And Disney went, that thing's working. That can fall under this family entertainment. Bob Iger's, let's acquire winning formulas. Let's buy that thing. So they got bought. And then for phase 2, you still would have had where they hit the early thoughts of what Feige was thinking. And so it kind of changes a little bit, but not too much. And they're putting out 2 movies per year for phase 2. And then you get to phase 3, we start putting out 3 movies per year. But it's a really well-oiled machine. And then you finish the story that makes the most sense, the obvious one with all the stuff that worked. You go to phase 4, and suddenly it's not the story that's dictating what projects you greenlight. Suddenly it's the business model, and the business model is streaming. And we need content for our streaming service. So Kevin, we need you to come up with 3 to 5 TV shows, seasons per year of Marvel content to put over here. And then, of course, we still want the movie machine going over here. And to make the movies and get people over to make sure that they feel like they have to watch these shows, we need to tie the shows into the movies. So let's really tie this whole thing together. And so you went from, in phase 1, 5 years, 5 movies, 4 years, 5 movies, whatever it was, averaging 1.25 movies per year, to phase 2, averaging 2 movies per year, then to 3 movies per year. And then last year they put out 4 movies in 6 months and 5 TV shows. Some of that's COVID, so that's a little bit inflated, but only a little bit inflated. That's 9 things. But the TV shows are more than 2 hours. They're more than 3 hours. So it tripled the number of things, but it more than tripled the actual amount of content being created. And they're having to discover a new formula of how to do TV. So you think, well, Kevin, he was brilliant. He found the Russos. They were doing Community. He found that the Russos were doing a comedy sitcom, and he discovered the perfect people. Like, right, he has done that. But having to do that at a point in time where he had to find 2 people per year, 2 great, clever catches, and having 2 people he needs to shepherd that year, watch over. And then you get to phase 3, and he still was bringing new people in, but he also had the established ones by that point in time. So you had, James Gunn is doing his 2nd one. You don't need to shepherd him as much anymore. And the Russos are doing their 4th one. Don't need to be shepherded as much. But you get into phase 4, and it's a bunch of new talent. We're not doing 2 anymore. We're not doing 3 anymore. We've got 9 pieces of new talent, great people you need to find. And then you need to shepherd them into how the story group works, how we do things with a much more complex story with more moving parts. It's not like phase 1 was, what are we building towards? Avengers. We're just building to team them up. And then phase 2, we're building up to a point in time where we can break them up at the beginning of the next phase. Phase 3, we're building towards Infinity Saga. It's real clear. Now we're building towards multiverse, Secret Wars or Invasion or whatever, Thunderbolts, Dark Avengers, Celestial stuff. We're building all of these things that maybe they all tie together, maybe they don't, while having 3 times as many pieces of talent, or 3 times as many storytellers we have to recruit, 3 times as many writers we need to recruit, doing, or actually more than 3 times as many writers, because TV shows have multiple writers, because it's much more content, more time consuming. You have multiple writers for a show. That has me so worried. While Kevin is like, I got this idea to do a Star Wars thing over there. I'm very worried about all of that. And I haven't, like No Way Home is special. But as special as a Spider-Man movie, not as an MCU film. As an MCU film, it's like, really? They messed up a spell? That's what made this happen? It's special as a Spider-Man film. And it's special because they did a gimmick you could do one time, and it's like, wow, that was really cool. But as an MCU film, it's kind of there. It's not all that interesting as an MCU film. And then kind of the rest of the movies, I've enjoyed several of the movies, most of the movies. I've had fun with them. I've liked them. I've liked some of the TV shows, but I don't feel like they've really figured out how to do the shows right. It feels like all of them have something about the show that works, whether it's the first episodes or the last episodes, or there's something that works, and then there's some really big problem. They rush the ending, they botch the ending, they tease a bunch of stuff they don't pay off. So, yeah, I think absolutely this quantity thing, that's not Kevin Feige. That's Disney. We're a streaming company. Give us 5 TV shows a year. Like Spider-Man, the animated show when he's in high school. Why are we doing that? Oh, because Sony owns the film rights to Spider-Man. They don't own the animation rights. So we can do an animated show. That's Spider-Man content. It's all about content, producing more quantity of content to put out there. And Kevin Feige hasn't stopped being talented. But if you're no longer doing 1 per year, 2 per year, 3 per year, but 9 per year, some of them outside of the area where you've demonstrated competency, which is movies, not television, problems arise.